Hey everyone, I wanted to do a review for the movie I just saw last night, Asteroid City. I went to an early screening of this movie. Wes Anderson, first of all, it was a really packed screening. I think it's really impressive whenever you see a Wes Anderson movie. You kind of know that everyone's going to go see it. You kind of know that he is an independent director who's built in an audience. And a lot of movies don't have that, so it is really unique to just go to see this movie because it isn't your traditional blockbuster. You know, when you see a Wes Anderson movie, you're not expecting just the fast-paced stories that you get. You're going to get a well-paced story and something very visually fun and interesting to look at and watch, but it's going to be different, and I think that's just like one of the draws about this movie. I think that Wes Anderson has done more conventional movies too. The Grand Budapest Hotel, Moonrise Kingdom, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and you know his other works are, he's had some other more streamlined works. I think this kind of falls more into the realm of The French Dispatch. This isn't really an experimental film by, honestly, in some ways it kind of is, but it really is Wes Anderson just playing with genres. I think, you know, when it ended, me and a couple of my friends were trying to analyze what it meant. We were like, well, what's he trying to say in certain scenes? And I think there is a way you could overlook this movie. I think Asteroid City, the way I see it, the way I'm assuming Wes Anderson intended it to be seen, is it is simply a story that he's telling, and it's just a story he's passionate about. And I'm gonna give very, very mild spoilers that are, you know, introduced in the very opening act of the movie, so you kind of know what's coming. But yeah, I'm just gonna get into that just so you kind of understand. Wes Anderson immediately begins his movie by saying this is not a film, like in the traditional sense. This is a play based on a TV show. And he even has Bryan Cranston in this Rod Serling type character. And then there's even these gags where, like, he'll pop into the scene. It reminded me of that play, The Play That Goes Wrong, where a character just, like, pops into a scene. They're like, oh, am I supposed to be here? And they run away. This has plenty of gags like that. I think this movie could have used I want to say a little more humor. I feel like it just doesn't have this chaotic energy it could have. I feel that's something that, you know, maybe he didn't want to have. It's basically framed like a play. So you're going back and forth between a play and between the actual production. So you can see, like, the movie Asteroid City is supposed to be a play, but then you see there's black and white scenes that are set on a stage, and it's totally different. And that's the stuff that I think might have taken people out of it, just because it's like two different versions of the same scene. But that's how Wes Anderson operates. If you saw The French Dispatch, he showed his movie as a newspaper, and each act was a different section of the paper. So this is pretty much a play where the movie are just various scenes from the play, and he interchanges some of the movies, so you see some of the more dramatic stuff is behind the scenes, which is honestly a decent choice. Like, there's a good scene with Jason Schwartzman and Margot Robbie. And it's really well done because I feel like the point of it is to feel not like part of the movie. It feels like it's kind of an aside thing, but it works in the story. I feel that, you know, this movie can be overanalyzed as being, you know, kind of overcomplicated. Like, what is the idea of adapting a TV show or theater? Or maybe even people are going to try and say stuff about, like, an alien and what's the meaning of the alien. I guess there is, you know, more to be discussed with that. But with me, I really just felt this was Wes Anderson doing an experimental movie like he did with The French Dispatch. I think that he is a very unique filmmaker, and it's very easy to, like, read his films wrong because they can be such clean-cut Andersonian films like Grand Budapest or Moonrise Kingdom, where you have a very streamlined story, you know, with his style. Or you could have a film like this, which is much more experimental, much more out there, and it's still filled with a huge cast, like Steve Carell, Liev Schreiber. Everyone has these very, you know, little roles they play, and it's so unique and funny. The scene with the alien is excellent. Excellent just use of blending his other styles. I really don't want to give stuff away, but I thought that was great. And I also just think that, you know, overall it is a very entertaining movie to watch if you're looking for something that's, you know, different, because that's what Wes Anderson does. I also wanted to recommend the works of Jacques Tati. A lot of people don't know him, and if you really like Wes Anderson, I think you might see where he's pulling from with Jacques Tati. He's a director who made about 5 movies in the 60s and 70s. Really, really famous guy. Yeah, and also the 50s. One of my favorite movies ever, Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, which I'm sure Wes Anderson loves. Please, though, check out Asteroid City. And thanks, guys, for watching my review. Take it easy.